our style of Buddhism is Korean Zen. And what is Korean Zen? Korean Zen is understanding yourself and helping others. And so, and we do that through meditation, practicing. You believe everybody has a spiritual nature, right?
Yes.
All human beings,
yes.
Right? Okay, so all ethnicities, all nationalities somehow explore that spiritual nature, yes. Okay? So although I'm saying that the Buddha looked inside and he understood himself and he understood the universe, I am simply telling you a way of exploring this spiritual side. There are many ways out there to explore the Christianity, Muslim, Hinduism, Taoism, all these different ways of practicing. But also not only that, there's the practice of the Indian, the Native American Indians, the Native Africans, yes. the shaman, and all of these people. To say that they're not hooked up with the spiritual self is not correct.
Right, right.
But what we say is that it isn't what's, it's not which one is better. The question is, which one works for me?
Can I ask you a question about
sure.
Buddha?
Anytime, yes.
So, was there a particular
type of meditation or something like that?
Yeah, was there a specific path that, like you just shattered some perceptions that I had, which were that Buddha had that there's a very specific and dogmatic way of looking at things, and you shattered that.
Zen is very undogmatic.
Okay.
Yeah. So in its a basic form, and it's a fundamental form. There's no Zen has no philosophy, no doctrine, and it's not a religion. Okay, wow, and that's a very kind of important point. So a lot of people come here and practice, and they come here and practice from other religions because it's about looking inside and becoming clear, understanding yourself, and then working from there. And if you,
I had a son who was suffering from mental health issues and was also challenged with addiction, and I have two other boys, and so I had been struggling with him for years, and to no avail. I thought I could fix him. You know, I got myself very sick because I was trying to fix him. I was trying to, blaming myself. I was very focused on fixing him. In our community, there were 4 or 5 opioid-related deaths that year in 2015, and there were no local resources. So I met some people in town who said, look, we need to do something locally. We need to provide people avenues to treatment here locally, reduce the barriers to treatment. And how can we do that? So we brought together a bunch of stakeholders, police, fire, spiritual leaders, people in recovery, all sorts of hospital people. Got them all together in a room and said, let's work on this together. And out of that came this nonprofit, which we formed called SAFE. So it was kind of humble beginnings, to say the least. We started out, there were 2 of us. At the beginning, we were sort of a crisis unit. We were working with police departments, helping people get beds in treatment centers and that type of thing. And again, I had no experience other than being a dad. I had lived experience, which, as I found out, was kind of my PhD in this work. So that was 10 years ago. You know, we grew, we kept growing, we kept morphing. We eventually were able to hire staff. We have an executive director. And in 2022, unfortunately, my son passed from a fentanyl overdose. Oh. So that was...
sorry to hear.
Thank you. That was a major transformative sort of, obviously, and I had a decision to make, you know, and fortunately I had a lot of support around me that had kind of built around me as we were building this thing. And a lot of people suggested that maybe, you know, gee, maybe this is going to be too much for you and this and that. It's been exactly the opposite. I've just dug in harder. I love, I'm in recovery myself. I love the 12-step program that I'm a part of, that most people are familiar with. It has, I don't know quite how to capture it, but it's probably been the biggest blessing of my life. It's the people I'm with, the nature of the work, that I can sit and have this conversation, and that I can find another outlet for people to including myself, to achieve some healing and some peace among very, very chaotic circumstances. So we have 3 divisions. We have a prevention division, which is adolescent wellness. We have a collaborative care division, which is a fancy way of saying we'll come with you, wrap around you while you're pursuing your recovery, and we will find the services you need food security, housing security, spiritual security, career security, certainly therapy and exposure to recovery and self-help programs for the long run. And then I work with families. So we know that when there's one person in the family that's suffering, the whole unit suffers, and I would argue the community suffers as well. And so we wrap around that family to provide them services and support while their loved one is hopefully getting into their own recovery, or not, like with me. And it works. And here's the key. Everything we do is free of charge, 100%, no insurance required, and there's no waiting period, which is completely counter to our culture of care here in Western care. So I'm really proud of that. We're in about 46 communities and growing. We have some clients that are out of state. We don't have any borders. We will take all comers. Everybody is treated equally in our space. And as I said, there is no charge.
Right.
And
how do you support that?
So we support that through primarily some state grants, some federal funding, but mostly through the generous donors, business communities, and others that support us. Sure. So we've grown. We started out with 2 of us. We're now at about 18 staff people. Right. And